Hey Rollerblades, welcome back. Thanks for being here. So you might have noticed or seen about a week ago or so, I posted a video, actually it was probably a few weeks ago now actually, about I tried to be a 90s rollerblader for a day or whatever, and I bought these rollerblade swindlers off of eBay for about 60 bucks. Now, admittedly, prior to these showing up on my doorstep, I had never seen a pair of these in person. No one I grew up with was skating these, at least at the time that I was skating with them. So I don't know a whole lot, and I still don't know a whole lot about these skates, but I know that, these are the Rollerblade Swindlers. From what I understand, they were released right around 2001, but they have a lot of different variations that Rollerblade released over the years that are very similar from what I understand. And I think these have a special place in a lot of our viewers' hearts in terms of kind of nostalgia. So I wanted to put my feet in the shoes. I wanted to walk a day in the skates of the skaters of the 90s and 2000s or whatever. That was terrible. I basically just wanted to see how these performed, what 20 plus year old technology and some of the tricks that those guys were doing back in the day, what were they using and what was it like? So it was really fun to skate these and experience that. So I'm gonna go over basically my experience, because I got a few comments that were saying, hey Ben, why don't you share your experience of actually how you felt skating those? Because I didn't, in the video, I just skated, really. I didn't talk about anything. And so that's what I'm gonna do in this video, is talk about my experience and my kind of impressions on skating the 20 plus year old rollerblade swindlers here. So to start off, we'll talk about fit and comfort, because I think that's probably the most important aspect of pretty much any skate. And so as far as fit goes, the eBay listing, again, I bought these off eBay for 60 bucks. The eBay listing the seller did not know what size they are. I still don't know what size they are. I can't seem to find where it is, but they measured the outer dimensions of the boot at 10.5 inches or something. And I just took a gamble and said, oh, okay, hopefully that works. I have no idea. I was just roughly that should make sense for my foot size, which I wear a size 10 US. So they showed up, I put my foot in it, didn't even lace them up, didn't even strap them in until I got to the skate park a day or two later. And fortunately they fit upon initial kind of impression. I put my foot in, my toes had plenty of space. And so after skating them, as far as fit goes, they fit fantastic. Yeah, they fit really, really great as far as dimensionally. And then in terms of comfort, I skated these for about 2.5 hours approximately. And I was absolutely blown away at the comfort of these skates, even after sitting for, right around 20 years. Because even though these skates were very lightly used, I don't think they had ever seen a grind. In fact, I'm confident they had never seen a grind. Someone basically just rolled around in these for maybe a week or two, and then they sat for 20 years. And so even despite being, exposed to, humidity changes, temperature changes, potential exposure to sunlight, which can and will degrade basically all of these materials, my overarching kind of thought about these skates is that they held up incredibly well over the 20-ish years that, since they were produced, or since they were manufactured. Really blown away. The only thing was that when I got to the skate park and I tried to lace these up, I must have been the other skate, but the laces were the only thing that it popped as soon as I tried to crank the laces. I should have brought an extra pair of laces, but I was able to kind of jerry-rig, a solution to make them lace up fine, I guess. So yeah, again, as far as comfort goes, no blisters, no hot spots, no pain points, nothing like that. I was blown away as far as fit and comfort goes. They felt great, honestly. So next, I think we'll talk about sort of flexibility and support of the skate. I have to just point this out. So this cuff is this very unique, almost like a beveled, asymmetric design where it's quite a bit lower on the kind of the medial portion than the outside, sort of the lateral portion. So this is the outside of the skate. And I think that allows for the skate to have a little bit more flex to achieve those kind of royales and backslides that they did in the past, where they were super slow and controlled down handrails. But we'll talk about grinding in a little bit more. But as far as support goes, these had a really great level of support. I did a couple jumps, what I try to do, throwback Luke hangs or whatever I tried. I'll throw some clips on the screen right now. But as far as support, they had all the support that I would want. I didn't feel like I wanted any less or more support, to be honest. And then in terms of flexibility, I thought it was very appropriate. I thought it was really, really good. And we'll talk about grinding in a second, but you know, these frames are pretty tall, and this backslide groove, if that's what you want to call it, it takes quite a bit of steepness to achieve, you know, a boot down angle, more or less. And so, but with that, I thought it was actually a really good amount of flex. I was able to do top sides and stuff, but again, I'll get to grinding here in a second. Flex and support, I thought were really good, considering this is 20-plus-year-old technology, and to be honest, I didn't find myself wanting for either or more or less of either of those. Okay, so let's get into grinding itself. So if we take a look at the grind, kind of the sole plates here, they did a pretty darn good job with the front. The back, it's almost like they just sort of like forgot to do anything, like make a grind plate with the back. It's like this hollowed out heel plate, if that's what you want to call it. From what I understand, like, I guess there's some solution, some block that you can put here to then make it more of a viable grind plate, I guess. But I'll say that I skated these again for 2.5 hours. I skated rails, ledges, whatever. And I think the only grind that I actually missed was, I think it's called a wheelbarrow, where you do a fish brain and a heel roll at the same time. I think that's the only grind, the only sole trick that I actually missed. So actually I missed I will say I missed a negative Mizu, to be fair. I missed a negative Mizu, which like the negative sides are not like incredibly small. Like I think they're probably bigger than Colt's negatives. The soles, I found to be really good. I think the heel is I don't know that these are exactly flat. They may or may not be. I feel like the heel is a little bit higher. So I felt like I was had a little bit of like a slight gangster lean when I was grinding, which was a little bit awkward. But the soles locked on really well and they slid really well. I think part of that is a function of this like exposed hardware here, where this metal on metal is like this really satisfying sound. And I'll put a clip right here. But it's like a sensation I've never had before, where between the sound and sort of the physical sort of feedback you get, it feels really unique and really cool. So I thought that was great, and they slid really fast. I didn't wax anything all day long, which was really cool and really surprising. So yeah, we'll come down and we'll take kind of a closer look at the frame. You can see they have this pretty like extreme rockering system, where, you know, modern rockering is, I think, quite a bit less extreme than this. With this, I mean, with each kind of clock position that you move, it's moving a pretty significant amount of range. If you're not aware, you can basically change this, you know, pull the axle off, switch the spacer around to where now your wheels are much higher, or they're out more, or they're in more. So you have basically 4 different positions that you can adjust. I'm sorry, I keep hitting the microphone. 4 different positions you can adjust based on how you want to personalize where the wheels sit, whether you want them further apart, or you want maybe the outer ones closer, you want to lengthen your wheelbase or shorten it, whatever you want to do, you can do that, which is pretty cool. So I actually left them how they came. I was going to spread them out, and they're going to set them all to the outer rockering position, just to enlarge the amount of usable like H-block area, because you can see this is not a huge H-block, right? So I was nervous about wheel bite. If you've been following the channel for very long, you know that I've had some run-ins with wheel bite, partially user error, probably all user error, to be honest. So I didn't want that to happen with these, but probably mostly out of laziness, I didn't change these. I just left them how they came. And I'm kind of glad I did, because I skated the ledges, skated some concrete ledges. Like I said, I didn't really wax anything up and still didn't really get any wheel bite. These wheels are 55mm wheels. You can maybe see. I don't know what the durometer is. Maybe someone watching can help me out of what, you know, the durometer may be on these wheels. But from what I can tell, these are the stock rollerblade wheels that came on these 20 years ago. They held up really well. As far as grinds, I don't want to get ahead of myself. The wheels are fantastic, but as far as grinds, I thought that like the Royales, and I did a front farf and I did some back slides, it all felt really like good. Honestly, the flex was good. Getting boot down was like a really satisfying feeling. Honestly, it was really good. I wasn't really able to do torques. That was I think the one trick that was giving me too many issues. I sort of locked on one, but it didn't. The balance point on these is just a little bit too strange. I think if I took some time to really learn it, I think I could probably do torques, but that's for another day. Yeah, as far as grinding goes, man, I thought they were really good. You know, I guess like, again, you know, like I think it'd be better with that block or whatever they put here in the heel to kind of make it more of a solid base here. But as far as grinding, they grinded really well. In terms of like rolling, I'm pretty confident these are the stock bearings. Could be wrong, but I didn't change anything. And they roll really fast and they rolled really well. You know, they're not the fastest skates I've ever skated, but they felt really intuitive and felt really good. There wasn't a huge amount of adjustment, to be honest, in that department. They just felt good rolling around. They felt quick. Even with on these 55s, like, they felt good. Shock absorption, I was able to do some goofy jumps and spins and whatever, and all the landings felt really solid. I think part of that is just the function of riding flat. I normally ride anti-rocker on Colts, which don't have a lot of shock absorption, but these felt really solid. What I think is really cool about these skates is they have these channel grooves. So this is the H block, right? And then they have these sort of like channel 1 and channel whatever 3 grooves here, which is pretty cool. And I think that's pretty much about it in terms of my kind of impressions on the Rollerblade Swindlers here. I thought they, you know, for what they are, 20-year-old technology, 20-plus-year-old, I thought they were just truly surprisingly good, honestly. A little bit, you know, a little bit weird in the kind of backslide department, but overall super solid. And again, I can't emphasize enough, after just sitting for 20 years and not one being super brittle and exploding on my first, you know, 360 or whatever, the liner still being in good shape, the wheels still being in good shape, and not, you know, crumbling apart, being brittle. That's probably what I'm most impressed by, is that how well these have held up. If I didn't know any better when I got these in the mail, truly, I would have literally, if I didn't know, I would have thought that these were like, I don't know, 2 or 3 years old and not 20+ years old. So well done, RB, really fun. I plan on making another video with these. I want to clean up the 90s-ish garb and get some legit Jinkos and get like a chain wallet and redo kind of a part 2 of the 90s rollerblader video. But stay tuned for that. So that's pretty much it. I appreciate you watching till the end. If you do like the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to the channel, and we'll see you on the next video. Rollerbladers, take care.